Hi, I'm Susie from out west Homestead. Thanks for coming by. So, for this porch talk, I'm going to talk about when we were up White Oaks, New Mexico. We used to ride up there a lot, and the mountains, they're hard to get into if you don't know a landowner. There is a way to get in there, but most of it's cut off by landowners. So the place is really wild, and since that White Oaks is an old mining town, sometimes people will go and look for mines, look around, but it takes a while to get up in there, and you can only either hike it or horseback it. It just up mountains and stuff. So one day we were out riding, and I've told this story before, but for the new people that hadn't heard it, I'm retelling it. So we knew of a water hole and a shack up there, and inside the shack it was just a dirt floor, but it had an old cast iron heater, and it was pretty well broke. So we decided, we had a metal detector, and I said, well, let's go up there and check around that cabin. So we did, and you have to park on somebody's land and then ride in there. So we had one dog, her name was Gila. She was a real good dog. So we went back in there. It was several miles back in there, and there was old mining roads, so it wasn't too hard to to get in there. But so we got in there and we tied our horses up, and we went in that old building. Well, before that, what we did, we took the horses to the water hole, see if they wanted any water. And it was a little hard to do that because there was a lot of young wood trees that growed up, so it wasn't quite a thicket, but almost. But that was a spring, and it was just plumb full. I don't know where it was coming from because we was close to the side of a hill. But the little pool was kind of cut like a square, and we put a stick down in there. That stick was about 8 foot deep, and we couldn't hit bottom. But that spring, it just ran off down the hillside. Somebody, probably had a mine up there, had all that water, and then build a cabin so they can work their mine, back in the 1800s. So we went inside that cabin to look around on that dirt floor for old coins or whatever we could find. And in about 10-15 minutes, we heard our horses run down the road. So we come out of that cabin, and the dog was in there with us. And so Bill said, well, wait here, I'll go catch them. And off the horses ran down the road. So I was standing there, and it was really quiet, and I thought, and I don't usually tie my horse into a knot, but I tied his reins into a knot, and I thought, he couldn't come loose. There's no way that my horse could come untied. So I knew that somebody was out there in the woods. And as soon as it clicked on me, I pulled out my gun. I thought, somebody's out there. Because them woods are wild. Nobody's back there. People try to live like mountain men. There's hermits up in there. So I went over. I seen my dog, like my horses was tied that way. And I seen my dog go over there. And he was looking, there was a big old log down. And I feel like somebody was hiding behind that log. So my dog, Gila, went over to that direction, and she looked, and she was staring at that log. So I kept my gun out. I thought, if anybody's peeking, they're going to see that I got a gun on me. So I went over by the cabin corner. There was a big old tree there. So I got by the corner of that cabin and that tree, and I could see both sides of the cabin, how I was standing. So I kept my gun up all that time, and people I know are against guns, but when you need one, you need one. Oh my gosh, I'd hate to be out there with just my dog. You know, I'm sure she'd fight to the death for me, but my gosh, you don't know who's out there. The person probably carrying a gun themselves. But anyway, it was real quiet, almost spooky quiet. So I was thinking, the person up there, he knows the water is there, and he's either got a place up there by that water. The cabin is too close to the road, so he wouldn't live there, because people come riding by there, they would, you know, see it be used. But so I think he was probably off on that mountainside somewhere, and he might have found the cave, might have been living in that mine. But I feel like it was one of them hermits, or somebody wants to live like a mountain man, and they know that's a nice fresh water, so that they'd be living there. And if they are mining the mine, if they're working it, they're going to want you off. They're going to try to run you off somehow. But he snuck up on my horse and untied that knot and shoot him away. And they took off. It probably scared them. And so we was in that cabin, and we didn't even, you know, hear nothing. The dog didn't hear nothing. You know, a lot of times them things will go beep, 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 the metal detectors. But that was pretty scary. But you know, I was going to defend myself. But that person hid, and I didn't want to go looking for him. I knew where he was probably hiding behind that log, because my dog was just like a statue. Here's the log, and that dog was like this, looking at that log. But so Bill, what happened? He said they went for about a mile. The horses did, but they started going uphill, so that slowed them down. Then they stopped, and so he rode them back. And when he come back, I said, I'm sure he was behind that log. But we just left. I didn't want to have to shoo him out. What I should have done, I should have stood in that corner where I was at. That's what I should look like. And he would peek out like, oh my gosh, that's a bandit. That's what I should have done. But anyway, that's one of our horseback stories, you know, riding up in the mountains. You get all kind of people up there that want to live wild, and so you got to be on watch. There was one guy up there was reporting, and it could have been him. It was people seen this guy up there in White Oaks. He was running around the woods, and he was wearing buckskins, like the old time. But he would dart off, and people see him dart off. So it could have been him. But anyway, you always have to be careful for man or beast. So, well, I appreciate y'all watching from Out West Homestead. Bye. See you later.